All right, here we go. Hey, good morning or good afternoon, you guys, depending on where you are. This is Danny at a brand new time here for Danny Be Live. We're on at 11 a.m. This is going to be actually our new time, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern time. And that is because I have found that a lot of real estate agents at 9 when we used to do the show are still sleeping. So I think this is a lot better. Anyway, you guys, I am so excited today to have Kelly Robinson on from the Kelly Robinson Network out in New York. We're going to talk all about New York City real estate. Are people really leaving the city in droves like the media would have you believe? Or is it all good in the hood out there in New York? So we're going to do all that. We're going to talk to Kelly. I'm super excited. Thank you for being on. Thank you for joining us. And here we go. Let's do it. All right, so here we go, you guys. Kelly, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being on today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Well, you guys, thanks for tuning in today. A couple of super quick housekeeping things. If you are watching this live on YouTube or wherever you're checking this out, there is a chat box in there. If you throw your questions in for Kelly, she will answer them right here live on the show. We can get all of your questions answered about New York City real estate, being a real estate agent, running a team, and all that good stuff that we are going to talk about today. So make sure you throw those in there. And if you are getting value from the video, give us a big thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. So Kelly, again, thanks for being on the show. Let's just go ahead and rock and roll. You know, I'm going to hit you with the question that I actually asked you yesterday right out of the gate on our Instagram live preview, which is, you know, we're seeing all this stuff. I'm out in Southern California. We're seeing all this stuff about, you know, New York is falling apart. Everyone's leaving. The city's done. It's dead. Is that true, or is that just a bunch of media BS?
No, it's not true. Yes, there are some people who are leaving. There are some people who have moved to the suburbs, but there's not a mass exodus like everybody's thought of. A lot of people are going out of the city temporarily and planning to come back. There are a lot of buyers out there. There are a lot of people moving into the city. New York City is, in my opinion, the best city in the world. And New York City will always bounce back, in my opinion. None of my friends are leaving. I've got a whole group of about 16 friends in New York City. They're all staying. Um, and I'm staying. And there are a lot of people who are actually moving up to larger spaces right now because they were stuck with their significant others or their families in a small space during the pandemic, and they want more room. The other properties that are really moving right now are townhouses, because people want to be in a single family home without a bunch of people in the building. And the studios and one bedrooms are really moving. In fact, the median price for studios and one bedrooms actually went up 1%.
Wow. What is the, I'm just curious, by the way, I'm totally going to challenge you because even though, well, I love living in Southern California about what the best city is in the world, but I'm starting to rethink that, you know, given the current pandemic, but that's a topic for a whole other show where we'll talk about the best cities to live. But I'm just super curious, what is the median price point for, let's say, like you said, one bedroom or something like that in New York?
Right now, I think the median price point for a one bedroom is in the 600 range.
Wow. Okay, cool. And if I wanted like I have 3 kids, a dog, a wife, a nanny, all kinds of stuff. So if I wanted like a nice 5-bedroom house somewhere around there, what would that cost me?
I mean, it depends on the neighborhood and the condition of the property. But, you know, if you're looking in Harlem, you could get a great 20-foot wide by 100-foot lot townhouse that needs a renovation for $3.5 million. I have one. And
Wow.
then you can get some starting at $5 million on the Upper East Side. Um,
Wow.
yeah.
Where do people with, so I'm super curious. I know we're going down a tangent a little bit, but, and before we do that, let's say hello, Riva. Thank you for tuning in. Riva says, hi, Danny and Kelly. So thanks for being on the show. Riva, we appreciate you. Remember, guys, ask your questions in the chat box. We'll get them answered. I actually got a lot of questions in yesterday after our Instagram live, so I'll definitely be answering those. But here's an interesting question for you. So, if you're a family, right, and because I know the answer in LA, but we move to the suburbs. If you're a family and you work in New York or whatever, and you want to live there, where do families with 3 kids and a dog and a nanny and all this stuff live to get a yard and I don't know if you guys have pools, but to get a yard and a nice like big house?
Well, a big house, if you're not living in the city and you're commuting in the city, then a lot of people are in Connecticut, Westchester, New Jersey, and Long Island.
Got it. So you're moving out of the city. You're not living right in here.
Yeah, I mean, there are some very rare properties that have pools, and you do have single family brownstones and townhouses in New York City. But if you want a big backyard with a pool, I mean, you have to move out of the city.
Got it. Okay, cool. So my interestingly, my wife's family lives in Brooklyn with
Okay.
all the other Russians, and so we visited, and she took my daughter and my youngest son out there last year, and they can't stop talking about the place they went to for dinner. I think it's the one from the movie Serendipity or something like that, or whatever
Okay.
or for coffee or something. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Or frozen hot chocolate or whatever they serve there.
yep,
That's
yep, yep. They love it out there. So they visit all the time. Me, not so much. I'm more of a Southern California laid back beach kind of guy. Oh, sorry. Okay, so my 12-year-old is watching the show, and his name is Maxim. He says hello,
Hi,
Kelly,
Maxim.
and he reminded me that it's called Casablanca. That's the place they
Oh,
love. So I don't know
cool.
if you're familiar, but
I haven't been there.
all right, cool. Well, he's checking out the show.
Yeah.
So you guys,
Yeah.
thanks for being on again. Let's dive right in. Enough with the super small talk. We want to ask Kelly the hard questions. But first, Kelly, tell us, I would just love to hear, I'm very into, entrepreneurs, real estate agents, how you kind of got where you are in your journey in real estate. So I would just love to hear about, how you got into real estate and how you've gotten from starting your career all the way through to where you are today.
So I kind of fell into real estate. I was taking a break from another career and I just wanted a year to do something different. And I went and I was taking post grad classes at NYU. And one of my girlfriends said, "You'd be really good at real estate. I make this much money, every summer doing rentals." And this was when I was in my early 20s. And she's like, "Get your license." So I got my license and I started working in real estate, and I just kind of never went back to what I was planning to do. So um, it wasn't something that I was planning on doing, but I fell in love with it. And yeah, so it's not a very special story. It just kind of happened.
No, I think that's awesome. And, I think a lot of us fell into real estate as well. I mean, I actually don't know too many people that grow up, well, maybe now with all the reality shows, but, that are kids saying, I want to be a real estate agent. I don't think that happens too often. So, yeah, it happens for a lot of us. And so, a lot of the people that watch my show, I think real estate agents are, either, newer agents, or, they're also people who are kind of struggling to create a, predictable, profitable business, which is what I coach people on, to make that happen. But for you, how did you go from a new agent to now take us along your journey to being super successful NYC power broker?
Well, so it's very hard to break into sales in Manhattan. Most people start off doing rentals, and I started off doing rentals, but I really wanted to do sales. So I answered an ad um, back in 2005 for a team leader who was a top agent at the time in Manhattan who needed an assistant. So I took that job, and about 7 months in, I stopped being her assistant and started being an agent on her team. I worked with her for 4 years. Then I worked on another top team for a year and a half, and then I left and went to another company. And I had so much I after being treated poorly on teams, I didn't want to be part of a team or have a team. But I had so many listings that I needed a team because I couldn't handle it all myself. And so I started a team kind of accidentally and always promised myself that I would never treat people the way that I was treated. And so I formed that team in 2011, and we've had a team ever since, and it's been growing ever since. And it's hard to form the right team, that's for sure, but I have a great team of people now, and they're all really professional and wonderful, and we're all friends, so it's nice.
Oh, that's totally awesome. So a couple things definitely, Kelly, I want to chat about. But before I do, we have a question for you from our audience here. And the question is, Kelly, out of curiosity, what was that first career you had?
Oh, so I was an actress my whole life, and I went to conservatory programs, studied at the Globe in London, and did a bunch of television and indie films and theater. And I had a manager, and I had a little falling out because I didn't want to take a 3-year contract on a soap, and so we just
Hmm.
kind of, obviously he lost money because I said no, so I signed a post-dated contract for a year out with another manager, and I just didn't go back.
Got it. Okay, cool. Yeah, we know about actors turned real estate agents in LA. So
Yes, there are a lot of former or current actors in real estate.
yeah, that's right. Well, so let's talk about, real estate teams are definitely a hot topic. I mean, when I started in real estate, it was like it was like no one wanted to talk about teams and no one knew about it. But now it's definitely the hot topic. So you mentioned that, you didn't like some of the things that happened on the teams you were on, and then you've created a team to do things differently. I would love to know, what are those key things for you that you're doing differently than the way you were treated?
So compensation is one of them. I have one of the highest compensation structures in the city. Sometimes my managers think I'm overcompensating, but I would rather people feel happy and like they're working hard for their money and they're making what they deserve. There was also a lot of verbal abuse on my old
Oh,
team,
wow.
and that's not something that I would ever do. I treat people with respect. I ask them for their opinions. I think it's always important to bring people onto your team that have different skill sets than you do so that you can all contribute. You don't have to be the best at everything. And I found that the teams that I was on, the team leaders always had to be right and always wanted to be the best at everything. And, I've learned so much from my team members. So I think it's so important to ask them for their input and really take it seriously.
Yeah, I think that all of those are super important. And I talk to a lot of newer agents that are really struggling to find their way. And I tell most of them, find a team that you really resonate with, find a mentor, a coach that you can get together with that can really help you grow.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really important to find a group like yours, or someone else that you really fit with and that you click with. So let's talk. Since I'm a business coach and I'm really into profit and loss statements, you mentioned compensation for your agents without kind of talking specifically about that, because that's not the point of the show. How do you then maintain a profitable business on your end if your compensation for your agents is really high?
So, I'm on a much higher split, and I give them whatever split that they would be on if they were on their own with the company,
Hmm.
instead of giving them half of what I'm making. And then I just take my percentage above and beyond that on listings and properties that they bring in. And then on my properties, they get a pretty decent percentage of the listing, a lot of the showings and stuff, because I can't be at 18 properties at one time.
Right.
Um, and they, they are involved with the sellers, and they are really, treat it like it's their own listing, which I think is important. I want my team members who are helping me with my listings to really treat the listing as if it's their own, because I want them to do that. I have to pay them. They have to have skin in the game and feel like they're getting, you know, something out of it. Whereas, when I was showing for some of these other teams, it was like $100 if you happened to be the person that was there showing that when the
Mm-mm.
person that came in that bought, and you were running around spending more than that traveling to show the properties. So
Sure.
it wasn't very motivating. With that being said, I still wouldn't give up those experiences on those teams, because I learned the business very quickly, and I learned so many aspects of the business that I probably would have taken me years to learn if I was on my own.
Right.
Um, so I wouldn't give up those experiences. There are just a lot of things that I learned, and a lot of things that I learned too about ethics and what not to do. Um, that I saw happening on those teams, that I, was like, okay, this is the way I'm going to run my team now that I have to have one. So,
Sure.
yeah.
No, I think that's all really great experience. Man, it's cutthroat in New York. $100 for a showing.
Yeah.
No, it's cool. And so Kelly, since we're talking about teams, and I'm really big into teams, what does that current makeup and structure of your team look like now, in terms of kind of who does what and who's on the team and the staff there?
Yeah, so I have an executive assistant. He does a lot of the paperwork and the administrative stuff. He also helps me when I stage properties. I use him. He's got the muscles, so he helps me bring boxes upstairs and put together furniture and all sorts of stuff when I'm staging my own properties. Um, and he sets appointments for everybody on the team. and manages our calendars. And then, that gives everybody the ability to go and do more of what they do best, which is sell. And then I've got 5 team members who range, in different levels of experience, but they all do have experience, and they're all very good. And, they're all on the same kind of, compensation scale and contract. And they have a minimum that they have to hit every quarter of gross commission income in order to maintain a spot on the team. Now,
Awesome.
obviously, during the pandemic, I'm not holding them to that. But, I think it keeps people motivated.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that sounds like a really great setup. And then Kelly, on your end, are you you're currently still in production, I believe, from the sound of it. So you still do listings and buyers as well?
Oh, yeah, we do. We have a lot of buyers right now. We've got a lot of listings.
Yeah, cool. But you personally work with the clients as well.
Oh, yes.
Got it. Okay, cool.
Absolutely, 100%. I'm the one that follows up with them and keeps them informed of everything and talks to them on the phone all day long. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, cool. Well, that sounds like a really cool, team makeup for sure. And so, Kelly, a question that, that I get a lot from real estate agents with, obviously the big elephant in the room with the pandemic is, it's really kind of fundamentally changed the way we do business and the way we get business. And so one of the questions I actually got on Instagram from a newer agent yesterday is, how do you get business now versus before? This particular agent told me that she used to do a lot of open houses and she's like, now I can't do open. So, so Kelly, how do you, get your business and how do your team members get their business now?
So I have my team members prospect. Of course, during the pandemic, prospecting, you had to be a little bit softer, about your technique because you really want to take care of people. So our prospecting during the pandemic was more about taking care of people, reaching out to our neighbors. I started a COVID-19 Upper East Side COVID-19 support group on Facebook that has over 550 members now. Team members do that for their own neighborhoods. And I said, don't go into that, being opportunistic. Just do something for your neighbors to support them during this time. And maybe you'll get business out of it, maybe you won't, but that's not the point. So I think, while it's not about necessarily going after the business, I think really getting involved in your neighborhood and being supportive during this time is a great way to get your name out there while also doing something good for your community. Because, hounding people about selling their property right now just doesn't work.
Yeah.
We also we prospect expireds. And so right now what we're doing is we're just giving them information about the market, and, giving them the opportunity to give us a call if they have any questions or want to talk about the past or the future and what we think. And we're not pressuring them to list now or do anything now. We're just being supportive. But that in turn, I think helps you build your business.
For sure. So it sounds like you guys are doing a lot of relationship building, with these people, and then you'll get business out of that down the line versus kind of immediate. So, question I have for you is, I don't know. Let's say I've decided to move to New York and I join your team and I'm a newer agent. That relationship building sounds awesome, obviously for the future. But what would you tell me like today? I need money today. What do I do?
Well, they get assigned to my listings with me, and they get a percentage of my business, and they can do showings to direct buyers. If that person ends up not wanting our seller's property, absolutely not wanting our seller's property, because the first order of business is to work for our client, then they have the opportunity to work with that person to find something else. So it's kind of like doing open houses, but I think it's actually better because you're one-on-one with the people at the appointment.
That's awesome. And so you guys, I just want everyone to kind of hear this that's on the show, wherever you're watching this, that, when you join a great team, like Kelly's. By the way, are you currently growing the team? Are you interested in additional agents if someone's great?
I just added one and I need one more.
Okay, cool. So you guys, if you're in New York, we're going to have all of Kelly's info down in the comments. So reach out to her.
Yeah.
And, maybe have a meeting about, because I think, I was going to say, I think that's such an invaluable thing. Like if you're on your own, obviously, how are you going to get clients? How are you going to get business? When you join a great group like Kelly's, if that's a fit, then you have that, that opportunity to participate in your properties.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Kelly, you specifically, so let's put the team aside just for now. I know you've been doing real estate for a long time, but what does a day in the life of a top New York City broker with a team look like when you're leading that team? How do you divide your time between prospecting, managing the team, managing your clients, and all the other things that you need to do?
I mean, as you know, every day is different in this field. But I typically get up between 5:30 and 6 a.m. and I get my paperwork and I get my prospecting done. I don't pick up the phone and call people that early, but I'll, write handwritten notes or send them information on the market or what have you. Um, Early in the morning before the day really starts, and then if I have appointments, I'm going on appointments. I'm following up with my sellers. I'm following up with my buyers, and I'm looking for new listings for them. I also look for new properties for buyers early in the morning. Then I have a workout, usually late morning, walk my dog. And I'm big into negotiation training, and so I'll listen to a master class or whatever with my favorite negotiation expert. Just brush up on my negotiation skills. I read the news, the real estate news, and the regular news. I listen to that, and then I go on my appointments, and then a lot of times I have client dinners at night.
Awesome. So that, I mean, that's a jam-packed day. I'm in LA, so 5:36 a.m. is not when we're getting up here. We're very laid back. But that's, man, that's a really cool day. A lot of interesting stuff there. So Kelly, I'm really big into, mindset and things like that. I know I did hear you mention listening to some training and really being learning based there. I'm curious, is there anything you do in the morning to get your day going, get your mindset right, things like that?
I don't do any sort of meditation or anything like that, although I've thought that it might be a good thing. But I take a nice long walk with my dog. We go to Central Park. He plays with other dogs. I get my coffee. I have my workout. And I think that kind of like puts me in a good mood and puts me in the right mindset to finish off the day.
No, that totally works. I think that's great. I think that's a really awesome morning routine for sure. So Kelly, this is great. I mean, you've taken us through, so much good stuff, and congratulations on all your success for sure. One of the things that people say when I do these interviews all the time with really successful people is like, oh, they've been in the business for a long time. It comes easy for them. They don't have to do anything anymore. And so my question to you is really, as you look back on, everything you've done, can you identify a failure or a stumbling block or something that, experience you had and kind of how that helped shape where you are today?
Yeah, I've definitely had failure, and I think that there's that saying, "Failure is the success," right? You learn from your mistakes, so don't be afraid to fail. Don't beat yourself up too much. Just learn from it and grow. I mean, there have been plenty of times that I've failed where I should have done something differently with a listing and I didn't, and I lost the client, or more so earlier in my career, and or I didn't follow up as much as I should have because things were slow, and people really want to hear from you whether things are slow or not. And I've had people get upset about that in the past, so it really taught me um, to just be in touch more often and take care of people better, and more frequently. And I think another thing is I used to not want to tell people bad news, right?
Mm.
But you have to be able to be honest with people. And so what I've started doing is, which I think everybody should do, and is a pretty simple thing that a lot of real estate agents do, is I have a spreadsheet of everybody that's come through, when they've come through, when they inquired, when they made an offer, if they made an offer. But I always put their feedback at the end.
Mm.
And whether it's feedback from the showing or they've emailed me, then the seller can see exactly what was said about their listing from the horse's mouth. So you not only have you telling them something where they may be, kind of wary of what you're telling them and why, because people are very emotionally attached to their homes and can get very anxious, and kind of suspicious, I guess, when you're telling them to reduce their price or something. Feedback that's directly from the horse's mouth of the buyers that come through and their agents is so important, because it's not just coming from you.
Yeah, such great advice, Kelly. Thank you so much for sharing that. Guys, if you're a real estate agent, definitely listen to that. That is great advice. And Kelly, we have some comments and questions for you from our audience here. Remember, guys, throw everything in the chat box that you see, and we'll answer it here live. If we don't get to it, we can answer it afterwards on the YouTube video. But a couple things here. First of all, Isabella says hello. So Isabella, we'll say hi to you. And then secondly, someone asked, do you have any favorite, because you talked about negotiation training, do you have any favorite negotiation mentors or books?
Yes. Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss, and Chris Voss on Masterclass. And then our company has done, as you know, some trainings with Chris Voss. Yeah. He is my absolute favorite. I love him. I've done so many different negotiation trainings and worked with so many different coaches on negotiation. He is my absolute favorite. And I think it's because he comes from a place of empathy. I do not like to negotiate in a way that is mean or kind of, hard. I like people to all feel like they've won. And with his, he always says in a negotiation, at the end of a negotiation, everybody should feel like they won. Mm-hmm. There shouldn't be a winner and a loser. Everybody should win. And that's especially good in real estate because you're dealing with people, their emotions and their home, their shelter, which is a primitive need. And I just love the way that he, just all of his techniques are amazing, and you should definitely listen to him. He was a former top FBI hostage negotiator, and he's got amazing stories as well. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, Kelly, that's a great book, and I love Chris as well. I know, as you mentioned, our company Compass, where both of our teams are, has done some cool stuff with him, and yeah, he's great, and the book is awesome. I actually enjoy the hostage stories maybe more than anything else in the book.
Yeah, they're super interesting. I mean, he's done some pretty high profile hostage negotiations.
Yeah, for sure. Kelly, one thing I wanted to touch back on that I just got reminded of as I was looking at my questions before is, when we talked about how you get business. So I know you're super active on social media. Your Instagram is amazing. I really love it. And so I just wanted to ask you about, what part social media plays in your lead generation and business building strategy.
So I've definitely gotten clients from social media. One thing that I think has really helped is, all of my college and high school friends are also connected to me on social media, and maybe they wouldn't have remembered that I was in real estate, but because we're connected on social media and they see my social media every day, they remember. So when they have a question about real estate, or they have somebody that they know that needs to buy or sell or rent or what have you, they reach out to me. So it's really kept my sphere of influence strong. So yeah, I mean, that I would say has been the best way that social media has helped me. And I think it's a great platform for everybody in real estate.
Yeah, for sure. And then, with that, just piggybacking on that, do you have a specific, plan, strategy? Like, do you have it all mapped out? Do you use a software? I always love to kind of dive into the systems of that, because yours does look like it's purposeful. It's not just, whatever comes up.
Thanks. No, I don't have a system. I just try to post, a couple days a week. And, when I first started my social media, I hired an intern who was a, computer science major, and he built my Instagram organically up to 10,000. It's just been building itself organically ever since. He kind of taught me what I needed to post. I mean, at first I just wanted him to take pictures of beautiful architecture in New York City and post it on there. I didn't want it to be pictures of me. I wanted it to just be all real estate related. And he said to me, Kelly, you have to post pictures of yourself. People want to follow you. And I was like, but that feels so narcissistic. And, so anyway, I finally got over it, and it has helped. It's true. People want to see your life on social media, and it gives it a personal touch.
Yeah, for sure. Kelly, it's so funny you say that. I was just, my team just sold a property to a client, and then it's actually a friend of ours. So we went to his house for, like wine and cigars and stuff. We were talking yesterday about how you said you don't give things we can drink. And that's why I was thinking about it, because we had just gone to his house and I got him a bottle of whiskey and cigars and all that stuff. And so he slipped up, but he was saying to me, he's like, oh, I saw on your show about your kids. And I'm like, my show? I don't put my kids on my show. And he's like, oh, sorry, I mean your Instagram stories. So it's like people see it as a kind of a show and a reality show of what you're doing, and they watch it. It's great.
They want to relate to you,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, for sure. So let's, I'd love to hear a little more about kind of, so on Instagram, because a lot of people ask me, I think, it's one of the hottest networks for sure. You said he built it up organically to 10,000, and then you've continued to do those things. Can you share maybe just a couple of tips or things that you do daily to continue to grow that following?
Yeah, I answer messages. I correspond with people. It's really all about engagement. It's not necessarily just about posting and hashtags. You have to engage with your audience and take care of them. You're going to get, once you get to a certain amount of followers, you're going to get some creepy messages and stuff like that. You can just block them. But you really need to engage and converse with the people that are reaching out to you on there, and then things grow that way.
Yeah.
So that's how you grow something without, I know people buy followers and buy likes and buy all these things, which I think you can get blocked from Instagram or something if you do that now. But um,
Yes.
it's not going to help your business to do that. You really should have, it's better to have less followers and more engaged followers who are following, who are, engaging with you and really want to hear what you have to say and use you as a resource.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think, from what I've seen and in experience, I think it is about that engagement. The more you engage, the more Instagram's algorithm, I think, I don't know it, but I think it puts your posts up towards the top for doing that, for
Yeah, I think
sure.
you're right. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Very, very cool. So, Kelly, here's a question that I absolutely love. It's one of my favorites on the show that I'm going to ask you right now. So let's say that I picked you up and you're in New York. So I moved you all the way across the country out here to Southern California. I don't know if you know anyone here, but you had to start all over again in real estate, and there's a pandemic going on. What would that first 30, 60, 90 days look like for you in a brand new place without a big team, without all the stuff you already have?
That's such a hard question, but I think what I would do is I would reach out to everybody that I know who's bi-coastal. I would reach out to all of my clients who are out there. I would reach out to my friends who are out there. I would let them know I'm moving out there. And then I would probably join a team
Mm.
and do, what I did from the beginning. Um, I would, I think you have to be humble. If you have to move and you've got to start over, do it the right way.
Yeah, for sure. I couldn't agree more. Well, if you come to LA, we're growing, so the team is always
Awesome.
looking for great agents. So if you
I'll let you
decide,
know.
if you decide that big city life just isn't for you, and you want to be more laid back and hang out at the beach.
Yeah, I do love the beach. I'm going there this weekend.
Oh, nice, Brett. Well, you guys have beaches there. It's a little different, but
Yeah, it's
for
different. It's not right outside your door, but
yeah, for sure. And by the way, my parents swear by the East Coast. They're in Florida and they have condos there, and so they really are not fans of LA. So they're always
oh,
trying to get us to move out there.
I do like LA a lot.
Yeah, it's fun. So Kelly, I'm now kind of curious. Thank you so much, first of all, for taking us through your journey and everything you've done to be successful. We've had some great questions. You guys keep them coming. We got a lot of people on. I definitely think the 11 o'clock time is better, so I'm enjoying that. I think I'm definitely more awake. So this is great. Question for you is kind of now that you've grown your team and you're doing so well and everything's going great. What's next for you, and what does that next maybe 1, 2, 3 years look like for you and the business and the team?
I think we just keep growing, to be honest. We keep doing what we're doing. And, as the market changes and as the way of doing things changes, we adapt and we grow and we alter the way we do things if we have to, and we get creative. Because it is an ever-changing industry, especially now. It's becoming much more streamlined due to this pandemic. And I think if there's a light at the end of the tunnel, that's it. Um, but you always have to kind of be a chameleon, and you always have to be willing to um, not get stuck in a way of doing things and be open to learning new ways of doing things so that you can grow. So I think we're just going to grow. We're going to continue to get more high profile listings and properties. And, that's it right now.
Yeah, we always have to reinvent ourselves in real estate, I find, for sure, all the time. By the way, you guys, as a lot more people join us right now, I just want to let everyone know that Kelly's information will all be down in the description below. And so, as far as where you sell real estate, we haven't touched on that. I know we said New York, and I don't know the area. So, if you could tell our viewers all the different places you sell real estate, in case we have agents that want to refer to you,
Yeah.
or we have buyers and sellers watching that want to buy or sell in New York.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. So I specialize in Manhattan, and I have team members who specialize in Queens and Brooklyn. And we work all over Manhattan, so at Queens and Brooklyn. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Very, very cool. Well, Kelly, what we are going to do now is I know we've had fun, but now we're going to step up the fun factor even more. And we are going to do my lightning round of questions. Before we do, we're going to give you a big round of applause for all the great answers you've given us so far.
Thank you.
And now we're going to do my favorite part of the show, which is my lightning round of questions. I'm going to preface this with you guys. I did not give Kelly these questions. I don't feed questions before, right? You don't have these. You don't know the answers. There's no teleprompter for you to read from.
I'm not great with teleprompters anyway.
That's right. And so the rules, Kelly, of the lightning round are there are no rules. You can say whatever you want to the question. You can explain your answer, or you don't have to. You can just give it and we will move on. And you get one pass on the questions. All right, you ready?
All right. All right, let me get ready.
All right, let's rock it. Here we go. By the way, I still love that picture behind you with the
thank you.
That's really cool. Okay, so here we go. First question of the lightning round is, what is your superpower?
Oh God, listening.
That's a good one. As a real estate agent, for sure. Okay, when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grow up?
An actress.
Ah, very cool. Okay, what profession other than your own would you like to attempt right now?
A startup in the pet goods industry.
Ooh, that's cool. That's a good idea. There's a lot of those for sure, but that's a good idea. Man, pet goods are expensive.
They are.
We got a dog in January, and we know. What kind of dog do you have, by the way?
Huh?
What kind of dog do you have, by the way?
I have a mutt. He's a rescue. He's poodle, Yorkie, and Cocker Spaniel. What about you?
Oh, cool. I have a Doberman.
Oh, they're so beautiful.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's been a lot of fun. We got him right before the pandemic started, and it's been really good because it got us outside and walking and the kids, and it's been great. Okay, so we're starting a pet goods company. What profession would you never like to attempt?
I don't think I would want to work at a dump.
That's a good one. Okay, what is your favorite restaurant or type of food?
Oh, I mean, that is such a hard one, but I love Italian food, and I ate way too much of it last night to the point where I passed out right afterwards in a food coma.
Well, you guys have a lot of good Italian food in New York.
We do. We have great Italian food.
There's that, what's the place we went to when we were there? The famous sauce, Rayo's. Isn't that there?
Rayo's. Rayo's.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, when we were there. Sorry?
It's hard to get in there. You got lucky.
That's what I heard. We're Russian. We know people. Okay, who is your favorite musician or type of music?
Oh, pass.
All right. Using the pass. We don't have a lot of questions left, so you can use the pass there. Okay. And by the way, you guys, the whole goal of the lightning round, just so you know, is so that we can really get to know. I love to see what makes people tick, what the secret behind the success there is, and kind of what gets people excited. And so I love these questions. Okay, a couple more. What is your idea of a perfect vacation?
Lying on the beach for part of it. But what I like to do is I like to book my vacations, especially when I travel abroad, which hopefully we'll get to do again soon.
Yes.
I like to book part of the vacation and leave a couple of days with no plans and no accommodations, and talk to the locals and find out what I should do and where I should stay, and kind of wing it for a few days. Some people are not very comfortable with that, but I love doing that. I feel like I get into the culture more. And I do things that I wouldn't have otherwise known to do. So I love kind of winging half of my vacation, and it has to have a beach somewhere.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm totally with you on all of that. I am not a fan of the like the guided tours and all that kind of stuff. as as my wife knows, because every time she books a guided tour, I have to veto it.
My mom
um,
loves those guided tours, so when I travel with her, I do them just so that she's happy.
there you go. There you go. Okay, we got a couple more, and Kelly has already used her pass, folks, so she can't pass on any more questions. I should pull out the really hard ones now.
There are just too many musicians and types of music that I like. It would take me an hour to tell you all of them.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so here's a good one. One of my favorites as well. Actually, we only have a couple more. What natural gift that you don't have would you like to possess?
Ballroom dancing.
All right, there you go. There's a good one. And my last question, which happens to be my favorite, but I just realized this might not go over well since you're in New York, but let's ask it anyway. What car best embodies your personality? I'm a car guy, so it's my favorite question.
What car best embodies my personality? You know, I would say a Tesla because I like to be efficient, save energy.
I love it. Do you have one?
No, but I want one. I have a car, but it's not a Tesla.
All right, so I know the show's about you, but I'm going to tell you the story. We live in LA in the suburbs, and like we have to drive the kids all over the place. So my wife is like, let's get a Tesla. And I'm a big like combustion engine guy. I take my Jeep off-roading and all this stuff. And then we have a big car for kids. So I've been against like the Teslas and stuff for a long time. But we went last week and we test drove them. And I got to tell you, like, I'm totally sold. It was awesome. I loved it.
They're awesome.
Yeah, and we test drove the Model Y, which is like the new crossover, and it was fantastic. I loved it.
Awesome.
So definitely check that out. Great answer. Great answer. All right, Kelly, that's the end of the lightning round. You made it through.
Thank you.
One more round of applause. Thank you so much for letting us get to know you, for sure. Kelly, here's now that we've done the lightning round, before we get off, I just wanted to ask you, are there any parting words of wisdom, your secrets to success that you could share with our viewers and our listeners here before we call it a day?
Yeah. Always listen, brush up on your negotiation skills, really take care of people, send them a handwritten note once in a while. People love those. They never get them anymore. And, always be ethical, always do the right thing. I've always found that when I've told people, don't sell right now, or don't buy right now, or don't buy this property, and maybe we didn't do a deal because of it, it's always come back. They've always referred somebody because, I did the right thing. And it's always important to do the right thing because it will come back to you tenfold.
Very, very great. Yes, very great words of wisdom there. Well, Kelly, I got to tell you, this has just been awesome. I appreciate you so much, and thank you for taking the time to share with us. Again, you guys, if you're an agent and you have clients for New York, Kelly's a great referral source for you and her team of agents who cover the entire area. We will have all that information down in the description below. We did get a great advice from Isabella, so that was awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I am so honored, and it was such a pleasure.
Yes, thanks, Kelly. Well, you have a great day and enjoy. And when I'm in New York, we'll definitely give you a call and you can show us around the city.
Absolutely. And I'll let you know when I'm in LA.
You got it. All right. Thank you so much. And thanks you guys for tuning in today to the show. I appreciate you. And let's go to this other scene. Kelly, you hang tight for just 1 second. Let me just share some stuff with the viewers here. So you guys, thanks for tuning in to the show. I hope you got a lot of value out of it. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. Also, subscribe to the channel. My goal is to interview amazing entrepreneurs, business people, real estate agents, really to show you what makes them tick and to show you that building a business that's predictable, that's profitable, and that's fun is something that you can definitely do. And if you're struggling with it, if you're a new agent, if you're in any line of sales or real estate or business or lending or entrepreneurship, and you need some help, I want to invite you to visit bookacallnow.com, book a free business strategy session. My goal is to help you build that business that's predictable, profitable, fun. We can have a chat. We could see where you are. We could see where you want to go in your business. If there's something that I have that can help you with that, I will certainly let you know. And if not, I'll steer you in the right direction. But either way, my goal is to give you that super valuable call. So go to bookacallnow.com. The link is right there. It'll also be in the description. Check it out. Book a business strategy call with us. We'll chat with you and we'll see if there's something we can do to help you. Otherwise, I will see you on the next video. Thanks so much for tuning in.